In a moment that perfectly captures the modern celebrity playbook, Meghan Markle has positioned a $12 jar of jam as the ultimate symbol of Valentine's Day romance. With cinematic seriousness, the Duchess unveiled the As Ever Valentine's collection, a launch framed not as a simple product release, but as a carefully choreographed lifestyle statement. This was not introduced as jam. It was presented as an experience, a philosophy, thoughtfully made, carefully curated, designed, we were told, for slow mornings. Language steeped in the familiar vernacular of high-end lifestyle branding, where domestic simplicity is elevated into something aspirational and often expensive. At the center of this grand romantic gesture sits a product that is, in reality, anything but new. The strawberry and raspberry preserve has existed within the As Ever lineup for years. The only difference now? For the first time, it is being sold as a single jar, and this development was treated as a landmark event. The brand's announcement leaned heavily on the illusion of novelty, presenting the standalone jar as though it were a cultural milestone. It might be amusing if it weren't so emblematic, manufacturing through scarcity and significance through packaging. Then comes the pricing, where the illusion fully unravels. A single 4.5-ounce jar retails for $12. That works out to roughly $4 per ounce for fruit and sugar, a price point that dwarfs comparable products lining ordinary grocery store shelves. Add a small decorative box, and the cost rises to $15, transforming breakfast spread into a so-called keepsake. But the most striking figure is the trio set. 3 jars, $42. This is not a bulk discount. It is a bulk markup. Buying more does not save the consumer money. It penalizes them. The arithmetic is simple, yet carefully obscured by soft focus photography and language promising intentional living. What's being sold here isn't jam, it's symbolism. Each jar contains roughly 12 tablespoons of product. At this price, every spoonful costs about $1. At that point, breakfast stops being sustenance and becomes a budgeting exercise. Consumption turns performative. The cost per use becomes part of the appeal. The strategy itself is transparent. The As Ever brand leans heavily on Meghan Markle's global visibility and her cultivated narrative, one that positions her as a refined rebel against outdated traditions. The brand markets itself as an antidote to loud, commercialized Valentine's Day gifting, offering something supposedly authentic and understated. Yet in doing so, it commits an even greater act of commercialization. It monetizes simplicity itself. Consumers aren't being asked to pay for superior quality, innovation, or rarity. They're being asked to pay for ethos, for the idea of mindful living, bottled and priced at a premium. The Valentine's angle only sharpens the cynicism. A holiday already saturated with commercial messaging is repurposed once again, this time to move existing inventory under the banner of intimate, curated gifting. The result feels less romantic and more transactional. Public reaction has been sharply divided. Supporters praise the move as clever and refreshing, applauding the idea of supporting a female-founded business and embracing a quieter, more intentional lifestyle. Critics, however, have been far louder. Social media quickly filled with side-by-side comparisons to supermarket brands, jokes about gifting a single peanut next year, and growing fatigue over what many see as the relentless monetization of the Sussex brand. The phrase, slow mornings, has already entered meme culture, shorthand for paying luxury prices for ordinary routines. It's become emblematic of the growing disconnect between branding and lived reality. Importantly, this launch doesn't exist in isolation. It reflects a larger pattern in the post-royal commercial ecosystem Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have built. Their public identity now oscillates between serious humanitarian advocacy and high-end lifestyle commerce. One week brings conversations about mental health and media harm. The next brings a hard sell for artisanal jam. That dissonance is increasingly difficult to ignore. The constant pivot between moral authority and marketplace vendor leaves audiences unsure of what's actually being offered: insight or inventory. In an economic climate where millions are facing real financial strain, the spectacle of a former royal promoting a $42 trio of fruit spreads as the pinnacle of romance feels profoundly out of step. It conflates cost with value, curation with substance, and privilege with taste. Even the packaging invites scrutiny. The $15 keepsake box raises an obvious question. What exactly is meant to be preserved? A cardboard container that once held jam? The idea borders on parody, especially coming from a public figure who frequently speaks about sustainability and mindful consumption. The cognitive dissonance is striking. Consumers are urged to care about the environment while being encouraged to purchase additional, non functional packaging designed solely to signal luxury. It's sustainability as aesthetic, not practice. The marketing buildup only adds to the sense of overreach. Stylized Instagram teasers featured strawberries on silver platters, lush roses, and dramatic prompts urging followers to press for jam. The presentation suggested a major reveal, perhaps a new category or collaboration. Instead, the curtain lifted to reveal the same product, photographed differently. This wasn't a Valentine's collection, it was a rebrand. A classic retail maneuver played straight. When inventory stagnates, you don't discount it. You rename it. You relaunch it. You frame it as limited, seasonal, and newly relevant. The jam was never gone. It was simply waiting for a new narrative. And then there's the foundational premise itself. Jam as a Valentine's Day gift. In a holiday defined, however commercially, by jewelry, fragrance, fine dining, and indulgence, a breakfast condiment feels less like romance and more like a conversation dead end. The message becomes unavoidable. The creative well is running dry. A truly thriving lifestyle brand expands outward. It introduces new categories. It builds a world. What we're seeing here isn't expansion, it's contraction. The same foundational product repackaged as a seasonal event. After a year of planning, the answer to Valentine's Day was not innovation, but relabeling. Recent reporting suggests that As Ever may be exploring additional lifestyle categories later this year, but for now, the brand appears focused on testing just how far its audience is willing to follow and pay. What remains is a case study in the limits of celebrity branding. You cannot manifest demand through captions and mood lighting alone. You cannot simply declare value. It must be earned through innovation, quality, or genuine scarcity. This launch offers none of those. It is existing stock wrapped in romance and priced like a love story. The silver platters are empty, the cinematic music has faded, and what's left is the unmistakable reality of commerce, a clearance sale in disguise. This Valentine's Day, the offering isn't just sweet,